another. On this episode of Another Act, I talk with Wendy Raquel Robinson about comedy, Howard University, and why she's still in the game. Just when you thought you were out, they pull you back in. More Tasha Mack. Why did you say yes to the game back then, and why again back now?
Wow. Back then, I feel like it was we're going back to, oh my goodness, that was 2006, 2007. Mm-hmm. And you talk about an audition that was 3 hours long, the initial audition before I even got to the testing. And I mean, everybody was in the room. I'm not even going to call names because I was so intimidated. But I remember my outfit. I had on my little leather pants and I thought I was giving you all the spice and everything nice. And I had never read a character that had just resonated with my soul. Mm-hmm. I was coming out of my house had caught on fire. I had to move back to where I grew up, deep in the hood in 84th and Western in South Central LA. And I was living the roots of Tasha Mack, not knowing it. Mm-hmm. And so that was back in, it was 2005. And then cut to, here we are, 2021. Mm-hmm. And to have walked this journey with a character that has been so, I don't want to say just so relatable to me, but her journey from the bottom and building it back up is just so, how could I not say yes? Yeah. How could I not? And to see how she has evolved over those 8 years, from BET to now where we are with Paramount Plus, and the optics are just so much bigger. It's just, she's really touched me to the root of my soul. And Wendy Raquel, who's the original creator, she and I have become very dear friends. And so she's been able to, she calls me Jazz, you know what I mean? She's like, you just go with it, you go with it. And her passing the baton to Devon Gregory and his vision with it, it was a no-brainer. I had to come back.
What is it about Tasha Mack? Why do you think that this character, out of other characters that you've done before, cuts across the way that she does?
I think because she speaks out loud. She lives out loud. She's flawed, but at the same time, she's forgivable. Some people could be flawed, but you don't forgive them. But she gets a pass. And she's so dimensional. She's hardworking. She's, by any means necessary, I'm going to make sure that my son gets everything he could possibly have, want, need, and desire, and family first. And now we're going to see another reincarnation because she's a mother again to an 8-year-old daughter. And what is that like? Yeah. So, out of all the characters I've played, I think she is the one that has challenged me the most in terms of vulnerability and in terms of not having it together, but needing to have it together. And she's all over the place, but in a good place.
You guys find yourself in a really unique situation because this is now the third network, essentially, that the same show and the same characters that we were very familiar with are appearing on. What have been some noticeable differences as you guys have moved from your original network to your second network to now, Paramount Plus is streaming?
It's like every round goes higher and higher. And I want to say we started as a 4-camera show, and then we morphed into a single camera show. And now on Paramount Plus, the optics and the visual and the colors and the world, it's just it's elevated. It's like, not only has it elevated the characters' lives, but the sets, the production value, the world, so we've grown with these characters from Richmond to now Las Vegas, and really living at the prime of their life. But at the same time, are they really? Because they're just as flawed, if not more, than when they first started. And I think that's the draw that continually brings us back, or brings the fans back to watching these characters. And hopefully they'll stay with us in this third incarnation as we meet all these other players that are with us.
A few beats back, you use one of my favorite words, which is journey. I want to talk about your journey in this world of Hollywood. Let's go all the way back to when you were a student at Howard University. When you were thinking about what you wanted your career to look like in this space, what were some of your wildest dreams, and what have been like the biggest surprises along the way?
My dream then was, it was New York, it was Broadway, it was the sky is the limit. It was because I'm born and raised in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I was afraid to come back to LA, but I was also afraid of New York. So I chose to come back to Los Angeles. And I guess the biggest dream was to start my own school, because I could not get an agent. I couldn't get a manager. I couldn't even get a return page. At the time, there were pagers. So I'm aging myself, but it's all a part of my journey and my story. And I could not have dreamt to have a career in comedy and television. I was doing dramatic work. I was Agnes and Agnes of God. And, I'm doing, oh my goodness, everything that I did was Shakespearean or this and the other. And the one thing I appreciate about Howard, we did every genre and everything, but I came back and I appreciated the half-hour format.
So many actors talk about how challenging it is to do comedy, which always surprises me as a non-actor, because I would have thought that drama would be like the heavier lift. But 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, quite frankly, I hear that it's comedy. Why is it that you think that comedy has been a space that you've been able to excel in the way that you have?
I really don't think comedy is something you can teach.
Yeah.
You cannot teach that. You can teach acting, you can teach the craft of it, but to really have a spontaneous and be able to improv and go with it, and it's the jazz of it all. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Mara Rocket Kill calls it, it's the jazz of it all, where you can improv and go and this, that. And I think it just I was a curious kid that was just, at the time they called me gifted, ADD, all of that. But I loved it, and it changed my life. Yes.
So when you think about the future, and other projects that you'd like to take on, what are you looking for at this point in your career?
Wow. Thank you so much for asking that. I'm really interested in producing. I work with young people and transforming lives. 25 years I've been doing Amazing Grace Conservatory. And through that lens, I've met so many young people along the way that have shown me it's so much bigger than me and just this platform. So I want to do projects. I'm actually producing one right now. It's called Free. And it's a coming of age story of a young woman who is living a parallel life with her mother, but her mother is experiencing a dream deferred. But this young lady is able to pursue, through the gift of rap and music and all of that, a career, a life, and a well-being. So I want to do projects that touch, move, and inspire, and just stories that you wouldn't normally see us telling. Yeah.
No, I love that, because you understand better than most people the power of images in TV and film, and how that shapes how the rest of the world looks at us. So that sounds amazing.
Wow.
Wendy Raquel Robinson, thank you so much for taking time out to chat with me today.
You are fan-freaking-tastic, and I want to thank you.